गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण. So yesterday we discussed that Shankaracharya did not posited a positive avidya as a cause for adhyasa. Allave. That we have discussed elaborately, because that is, one is it is not in our anubhava. Adhyasa is in our anubhava. We can see directly. So, and first is adhyasa is not in our anubhava. That we did, I think we said already. Adhyasa is in our anubhava, whereas when it is already in anubhava, you don't have to look for some other as an avidya. Second, if adhyasa is a product, then you need a cause. Okay? You need a cause. But adhyasa itself is not a product. Why? Two reasons we told. Summarizing what we told yesterday. That all cause and effect relationship is within adhyasa. So you can't think of cause of adhyasa, because the entire field of cause and effect is blocked into one adhyasa. The entire principle of cause and effect, entire field of cause and effect is within adhyasa. Now, if you think of a cause of it, you are only falling within adhyasa, not looking outside adhyasa. That's the reason. Okay? This is logically explained. You cannot look for cause of it. Okay. Second point is, but adhyasa is a product as an anubhava. Okay. Adhyasa is a product as an anubhava. Anubhava means in our anubhava we don't have continuous adhyasa. Adhyasa is suspended. Adhyasa is suspended. Suspended in deep sleep and rises in waking. Okay. Because of this reason, that adhyasa is suspended in deep sleep but is found in waking state. Comparing these two experiences, two states, we can see clearly adhyasa is there at one time, it doesn't exist in another time. This shows adhyasa has a beginning. It is not continuous all the time. To this we have replied. To this we have replied, Sushupti, if you take Sushupti as another state related to adhyasa, living at the level of adhyasa, is part of adhyasa. It is part of adhyasa. What is related to adhyasa is an extension of adhyasa alone. It is not independent of adhyasa. Okay? Therefore, so the so-called tentative avyakta, tentative suspension of adhyasa is also adhyasa. Suspension of adhyasa is also adhyasa. It is not outside adhyasa, because another example I'll give you, you understand. In Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter, Bhagavan Krishna says, karmanya karmaya pashyed akarmani cha karmayah. He says, karma is karma. You are an individual doing a sankalpa, making a sankalpa and doing action. Akarma means what? You simply sit idle, not doing anything. This is a common man's thinking, that not doing anything and simply sitting idle is no karma. Standing up, or even while sitting also, if you start moving, it is an action. If you don't move, it is not an action. Okay? But there, Bhagavan Krishna himself says, and Shankaracharya also explains it according to our anubhava. What he explains is, karmani akarmaya pashyed akarmani cha karmayah. Akarma, one who sees karma as a karma and akarma as a karma. It looks very contradictory, but one thing he says, akarma is also karma. This is the point relevant to us. Akarma is also karma. Akarma is also karma. That means no action. No action means laziness. Not doing anything is also karma. Hey, how is that? Not doing anything constitutes karma? Yes, it does. How? Karma is not simply movement alone. Even sitting idle is also karma. Because the same situation, the same condition obtains even sitting idle also. You have, I tell you, what is silent ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಹೊಳೆ ನರಸೀಪುರ ಆಫೀಸ್ನಿಂದ when you sit idle, when you are acting, you have sense organs, you have mind and a sense of doership, that I am a karta. Who is karta? We think when karta is using a pen, he is karta. Okay? When you are using a pen, that is writing. If you are not using a pen, is it not pen? Even if you don't pay a use also, it is a pen, because pen is meant for using only. But it is a partly true, but it is still better than. I give you a better example. This is partly true, but still a better example. When you are active, when you are working, you have a body, mind, sense organs, they are active. But even when you are not acting, body is not working. Okay? Speech is only 3. You can you can perform action at 3 levels. Sharira, Vak, Manaha. Body, speech means karmendriya. So body, speech and mind. So body may be inactive, just sitting idle like in meditation. You are not speaking. When you are not speaking, when you are not acting, moving and speaking, just sit silent. Is there action or not? Because not using your sense organs, you are there as a karta, as an individual, holding them from movement. You are holding them from movement. Another example can make it much clearer, perfectly clear. If car is in a slope, you apply the brake. In a slope, car is moving because it is coming down, it is slipping down. At that time, you apply brake. Then it looks that car is stationary. Is stationary no action? See this example of car. is being stationary. No action. Even in stationary you are acting. Car is active. Car is moving. Only due to certain obstruction movement doesn't appear. If you remove the brake, it moves down. It moves down in a slope. So the movement is there in the car. Movement is there, but due to certain opposite pressure, opposite and equal pressure, the movement looks minused. The movement is not there, but the momentum is there within the car. Similarly, there is a momentum in the mind, in the karta. He is not using. He is holding the sense organs from moving. He is holding the speech, holding the hands and legs like this. He is holding them. That means he is using the hand. Now you see, when you raise it, you are using the hand. When you leave it like this, you are still holding it. Sankalpa is there. Your mind is functioning. Because you ask the person, hey, keep your hand here. He keeps. Don't take it, just keep it. Until I say you leave it there. Until I say you keep it there. So keeping the hand from motion, is it action or not? It is an action. Similarly, even when you are not acting is a karma. Even when you are not acting is also karma. Similarly, here, whatever is related to adhyasa, in deep sleep, because it is all suspension of the world. But still you are thinking of a state of suspension of the world. Means all sense organs, world and everything is stopped from functioning. That's all. Stopped for functioning. But it still relates to adhyasa only. Therefore, avyakta or sushupti, if you take sushupti as an avyakta or a state. Sushupti as a state or avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest. Either you call it unmanifest or a state. Both mean the same. That means you are taking sushupti as related to waking, as of the same level of waking. Then it is a state, it is an avyakta. Still it is a world alone in a modified form. World in a modified form, it is not worldless. World suspended is different from totally dead person. A person who is working in somewhere. He is taken holiday. Taking holiday doesn't mean the person is dead. Person is suspended from job doesn't mean he lost the job completely. Dismissing from a job is different from suspending. Okay? Suspending from the job is different from dismissing it. So he is not dead. World is not removed. World is suspended, it will come back. Come back means what? It will become active again. He will get back the job, he will be reinstated. That means he is a forcible holiday for some time. The person is suspended from job means he is given a forcible holiday for some time. Once that holiday is revoked, so he will come back. Means he is not lost the job. He has not resigned, he is not dead. Either dead or resigned or removed. Either dead or resigned or suspended, dismissed from the job. Once dismissed, now he can't claim anything. Everything is gone. But he is suspended. Similarly, is sushupti suspended or totally dismissed and eliminated? If eliminated, you won't wake up. If sushupti is a state of suspending the world or totally removing the world, destroying the world. If it destroyed, if it is falsified means world doesn't exist, then you won't wake up. You wake up because, wake up means the hand which remained motionless, you start moving it. The hand which was just motionless, you start moving it. Motionless is also hand. It is ready for moving. Means it is getting ready for moving, but it is not moving at the moment. So it belongs to movement only. Therefore, avyakta is also part of adhyasa. It is not a direct adhyasa, but it is an indirectly adhyasa only. Indirectly, in the sense it is related to adhyasa, it is an extension of adhyasa. Therefore, Bhashakara says, Vyakta Avyakta both are avidya kalpite nama rupe, Vyakta Avyakta, he says. Vyakta Avyakta both are avidya kalpita. Bhashakara says, number of times, not even one place, Vyakta and Avyakta both are avidya kalpita. Okay? Therefore, Sushupti is also due to adhyasa. So Sushupti has one state. If you take Sushupti as a state, Sushupti as an avyakta. So if you say like this, if you take Sushupti as an avyakta, waking and dream put together as Vyakta. Waking and dream put together as Vyakta. Avyakta, Vyakta only two. But if you take as a three states, Sushupti is a one state, waking and dream are two states, put together three. Either you call them states or you call them Vyakta, Avyakta. Both these are within adhyasa. Now the question, adhyasa is a product, adhyasa is not there, therefore it needs a cause to produce the adhyasa. How can you think of a cause of adhyasa when Sushupti itself is an adhyasta? You recall Sushupti. You recall Sushupti through mind. Okay. You think Sushupti as a state, it is a past tense, it is a past experience, it is related to waking, it is a tentative suspension of waking, it is blank, it is ignorance, whatever you say. Or it is a tentative, blank means what? It is avyakta. Ignorance means what? You don't know the world. What do you mean ignorance? In Sushupti you don't know anything means what? As you know in the waking, you don't know in the deep sleep. As you know in the waking, you don't know in the deep sleep. That means the ignorance of the Sushupti is ignorance about the waking world. That means as you experience the waking or dream world as a subject-object duality, this kind of duality is not experienced there. Okay. That means you say what is ignorance? Ignorance of the waking world. That means ignorance of the waking world means ignorance in the form of duality. It is a specific ignorance, it is not a general ignorance. Ignorance means you are ignorant in a particular way. You are ignorant in a particular way. That means just as the waking world is, not so, that's all. You don't mean the world itself doesn't exist, because world exists as a seed, as a bija rupa. As a bija rupa in deep sleep. Okay, in Sushupti, it is there in bija rupa, means still it is related to it. It is like you don't have a bank net cash now, but you keep it in the bank. Is it the money or not? But it is there in your passbook. Passbook can't be used directly, but money is there. You can't use it, but it is there. Once you act it, you draw the money, then it becomes active. You can use it. When you draw the money, similarly, putting in the bank is like avyakta. Avyakta means you put in the bank. Isn't it? You put the entire world in the bank. That means it is a world bank. Bank of the world. Avyakta is a bank of the world. You can preserve it, but you can't use it. You can preserve it, you can't use it. Okay? But it produces interest. Okay? It produces interest. ಟಿ ವಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದೇ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಏಕೆ? ಟಿ ವಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮನೆಗೂ ತಲುಪುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. So avyakta is only related to the world or outside the world? Is the bija outside the tree or is only a part of a tree? Is it a part of a tree or it is independent of the tree? It's a part of a tree, is related to tree. Similarly, avyakta is related to the world alone. But avyakta, either vyakta or avyakta, both of them don't exist for the Atma. Therefore, when they don't exist for Atma, both are adhyasta. They don't exist for Atma, therefore both are anatma. Avyakta, vyakta, both are anatma. Anatma means other than Atma. Other than Atma doesn't exist, that's why adhyasa. Anatma doesn't exist, that's why adhyasa. Therefore, deep sleep as a state, as avyakta, is also within adhyasa. And you experience it from the waking. When you have a waking mind alone, you experience it. You think that you experience deep sleep for a while, okay? You think you went to deep sleep, lived there for a while and then woke up, okay? Then you think that I had experience like this. All this is only mind is imagining. But this is not your personal imagination. It is an instinctive, natural, just as adhyasa is natural and instinctive. Similarly, sushupti as a state, as an avyakta, is also natural and instinctive. It's natural. That's why it is a natural adhyasa, swabhavika adhyasa. When somebody came home, example I am giving. He wanted to ask the person, Manjunatha, can I meet Manjunatha? That lady of the house says he's out of station. He asked the question, oh, he's out of station? Where did he go? He went to Bangalore. Oh, we are in Bangalore. Okay, he went to somewhere else. We always think of Bangalore outside Holineshwara. From Holineshwara, it is Bangalore outside. Oh, he went to somewhere, Bangalore. Then he asked a question. This is a typical Indian question. You know what that? Oh, means is he not at home? Do they ask or not? Is he not at home? If that lady has a patient, she would tell, no, he is not at home. You mean really he is not at home? Yes, sir. Are you sure? Yes, I know he is not at home. If he is not at home, does she not know? See, the question you see. If she is a very short-tempered lady, she would get angry. Don't you understand, when I told he is out of station, how can he stay at home? When I told he went out of station, that implies that he is not at home. Do I have to tell separately that he is not at home also? Oh, okay, he went out of station, but is he at home? Means what do you say? Oh, he went out of station, but also he is at home. Do you expect me to say that? Do you expect me to say that he went to Bangalore and he is also at home? What do you mean? When I say he went out of station, he is not at home. He is not at home, how do you know? Because when he goes out of station, not home is implied in it. Do you have to say separately? Okay. Or another example. He asks, where is that person? He says he passed away. Oh, passed away means he is not alive? Yes, he is not alive. When he passed away means he is not alive, where is that he is not alive? Is it separate? Or is it a part of the same thing? It is the same implication. Therefore, in Sushupti, there is no world means it is the same. Same adhyasa extending into Sushupti. Related to same thing. When you say the other aspect of it, how many people are there? There are only 10 people, he told. He asked, how many people are there? There are only 10 people. Oh, you mean there are no 15 people? Yes, 15 people. When I told 10 people, what does it mean? There are no people more than 10. That's what it means. No 11, no. Should I have to sell? No 11 people, no 11 people, no 12 people, no 13 people, no 14 people, no 15 people. How many people you have to say? You have to say up to 1,000 or 2,000. When I say 10 people, means not more than 10. So similarly, that not more than 10 comes from the 10 only, is related to 10. Therefore, it is an extension of adhyasa. It is another side of the coin, we call it. Another side of the paper only. Another side of the paper. It is an extension. I gave you different examples. I think it is easy to understand. But some people, I don't know how they don't understand, how they create other than adhyasa. If sushupti is a state, the stateness itself is a thought. Okay? How do you understand sushupti? That you are going and coming, that means it is a tentative kala. It is a period of time. It is only a short period. How you might be going to sleep for 6 hours or 7 hours. Okay? 6 hours. Now, if sushupti is without adhyasa, can there be 6 hours for adhyasa? For no adhyasa? It is 6 hours you talk of it. You say it is a blank. Blank means what? Not unlike the world. You are contrasting. Unlike the world. Still you have a relationship with the world. It is unlike the world, therefore it is, or it is all dark. Whatever you say, it is still related to the world like a bija of a tree. Therefore when he says he is out of station, that means he is not at home. Now he says, the person who has come, he says, yes, I have understood he is out of station, he has gone to Bangalore. My second question is he not at home? Oh, she says, do you expect him, do you need this second answer also? If I don't give you the second answer, what do you understand? Do you need this second answer also? How will I tell the second answer? Second answer is implied in the first only. It is derived from the first only. So avyakta adhyasa is related to waking state, is related to dvaita, related to adhyasa only. Because sushupti as a state is also a thought. If you think of a state, it is also a thought. But the sushupti as an experience, they say the difference is, this much is the difference. Sushupti, as you are in sushupti, you have no thought. You have no thought of me and the world, whether world is not, whether I am or I am not. Both the thoughts are not there. Neither I am nor I am not. Both the thoughts are not there. I am and I am not. World is not. No thought whatsoever. But they say there is an absence of the world. Absence of the world, the absence of the world is true. But is there a thought of absence of the world? Do you entertain a thought that now I don't see any world? If there is no world, who will see? There is no world, who sees? If Pramata sees, then again is a part of the world. If it is outside the world, that itself is Brahma. If you are independent of the world, that is Brahma. Therefore, there is no thought. We say in Sushupti there is no thought. But from the waking, as you wake up, you have got double thought. One is a waking thought, another is absence of waking thought, that is Sushupti. Sushupti waking is a two sides of the same paper. One is a waking thought, another is simultaneously an absence of waking thought. Okay. When you say 10, there are 10 people, you have got two thoughts. Oh, there are only 10, not more than 10. Not more than 10 is a derived thought from the thought, 10 only. Similarly, there is a world and there is an absence of the world. When world is limited, waking world is limited, its absence of the world is also a simultaneous thought. Therefore, a thought of Sushupti, a thought of Sushupti that there is no world, a thought of waking that it is a world, that means a thought of world and thought of no world. These two put together is adhyasa upon the real Sushupti as your anubhava. Real Sushupti as an anubhava is Advaita Atma, Chaitanya Atma. On the Chaitanya Atma, waking and absence of waking, that is Avyakta. Both put together is one adhyasa upon the Atma. Now is it clear? This point, when I studied Satchidanandana Swamiji 35 years ago, in 86, first 86, when I came to Satchidananda Swamiji's Prakriya, this is what I understood. I came away to this Prakriya. This point I understood then only. Since that time I have been telling. I think 86 ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು? 96, 2000, ಅಯ್ಯೋ 30-40 years ಆಯಿತು. 30-40 yearsನಿಂದ I have been telling the same thing. But people still ask the question again and again and again and again. I don't know. The Sushupti thought, Sushupti as an experience, Sushupti as a thought. Sushupti as an experience is Rajju only. Is directly Brahma only. But when you have a waking thought which is an Adhyasa, along with waking thought you have a thought that there is an absence of waking called Sushupti, Avyakta. Just as when you say 10, there are no more than 10 also. More than 10, how do you know? With 10 only, it goes with it. Similarly, when I have a world is limited. Waking is limited. Waking is not Swatha Siddha. Waking world is not Swatha Siddha. Waking world is not Nitya Siddha. Waking world is not eternal, it is not self-existing. Waking world itself is limited because it goes away. So the waking world goes away, therefore that going away of the waking world is called Avyakta. So along with the waking world, going away of the waking world is also there with it. When you have a paper, when I give you one paper, one page, you have another page by the side of it. Another page is by the side of it. When you have a limited world, you have it in absence also. Now I ask you, when there is a world and absence of the world, first, which one came first? Absence of the world came first or world came first? World and absence of the world are two sides of the same kind. How can you say which one comes first? When you think of the world, which is a limited world, when you think of an object which is a limited object, an object which is limited, instantly along with the thought, an absence of also simultaneously existing. An absence of the world also simultaneously existing with it, because world is limited. This absence of the world gives you an idea of limitation of the world. See, ಯಾವುದೇ ವಸ್ತು ಪರಿಚ್ಛಿನ್ನವಾಗಿ ತೋರಿದರೆ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಇಲ್ಲದ ಜಾಗ ಒಂದಿದೆ, ಅದು ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿದೆ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಅದರ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಅನಂತ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವ್ಯಕ್ತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಟರ್ನಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟ್, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಎ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟ್, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಎ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್, then simultaneously along with the thought of the world, you have a thought of its absence also. So these two thoughts are like, let me say, twofold one thought. One thought of a combining two compartment one thought. Either you say two thoughts or you say double compartmented one thought. One thought of two compartments, like a paper of the two sides, two compartmental one thought. One thought having two compartments. Okay, this is Anadi Adhyasa. This is Anadi Adhyasa, where you see the world and talk of its absence related to world. So Sushupti as an Anubhava is free from Adhyasa, because it is not even Avyakta. Nobody experiences Avyakta, note this. Nobody experiences Avyakta, absence of the world, when you are in deep sleep. You interpret deep sleep as an Avyakta when you have a contrast of the world to compare with. When you have a world, you call it, oh, Sushupti is an absence of the world. That means in the Sushupti you have an Adhyasa of the world. Upon the Sushupti, on the Rajju there is an Adhyasa of the Sarpa. On the rope, when there is an Adhyasa of the snake, then you say an absence of snake also, because snake is limited, is not always there. Oh, then means there is a time when there is no snake. There is a place, there is a point when there is no snake. Adu bartade. Hage, similarly, when you have a waking thought as an Adhyasa, waking state, waking means waking and dream. So along with the waking thought, there is a thought of Adhyasa. They go together simultaneously. Therefore, you have a thought of waking and thought of absence of waking called Avyakta, called Adhyasa. Okay? So this both put together is one Adhyasa upon the Sushupti, which is your Swarupam. Sushupti, which is your real nature, which is Brahman, you have a thought of waking and absence of waking. Waking and absence of waking put together is one adhyasa upon your Atma, which is Brahman. Okay? So, Sushupti as an Anubhava is free from Vyakta and Avyakta. As a Sushupti Anubhava, you are free from Vyakta and Avyakta, it is directly Brahma Anubhava. But when you see the Adhyasa, waking Adhyasa, you think of Sushupti as in another state. Because Sushupti cannot be thought of directly Brahman. How can, if you think of directly Brahman, there is no world then now. When you keep the world, then the remaining Sushupti looks like Avyakta only. When you look at the world, when you experience the world, then other than the world looks like absence of the world alone. The Sushupti looks like an Avyakta, tentative suspension of the world, absence of the world, cause of the world, tentative suspension of the world alone it looks. That's why it is a waking mind which has got a natural instinctive thought about the Sushupti as an Avyakta. Okay. And from the waking standpoint, it looks that you have gone to sleep and stayed there a whole, I did not know anything, and you wake up, and all this is an interpretation. You have a memory of the sleep. You have a thought of memory of the sleep. That sleep, your waking mind is trying to interpret as an Avyakta. Not only an Avyakta, up to Avyakta is okay. But you say that you have experienced it as an Avyakta. That is a Mulavidyava. This interpretation, it's not interpretation, that's what common man's thinking. This common man's thinking, they have accepted it as Vedanta, that's all. Common man thinks like that. I slept, I went to sleep, I slept, I had no thought of anything, there was a blank. He thinks that there was a mind which is a blank mind. You ask a common man, what is deep sleep? In deep sleep, there is a blank mind, no thinking, no acting, body is resting, mind is resting, everything is resting and not active. Even my thought is also not there. Again I wake up. It is something like you are not using the pen and leaving it. When you start using the pen, then you become wake up. When pen not in use is called Sushupti. It thinks that I exist but I am not active. This is what people think. World exists but not active. Or I exist but I am not active. So you think, therefore you think that Sushupti as an experience. Because you have a thought of the Sushupti, thought of a deep sleep in the waking state, that is as an Avyakta. So you are trying to understand the Sushupti through this thought of Sushupti. Okay? This thought of Sushupti called memory, people call memory. The memory of the Sushupti, through this thought of memory, you are trying to look at the Sushupti. That's why you say, I went there, I slept, it was a blank, it was for a short while, it was for some time, it was a past. First it is a short while, second it is a past, third it is a blank, fourth I did not know anything. These four ideas you attribute to Sushupti. And more you think of it, more it looks, yes, it is true. Yes, really, this was my experience. All that from your making memory. A memory of the deep sleep you have. You have a memory of the deep sleep, a thought of memory of the deep sleep. Through this thought, you are looking at deep sleep. Isn't it? Common man is looking that way. Vedanta for Karma Kanda, for the worldly standpoint, takes the common man's view and adds little more, that's all. Common man thinks, see, I'll tell you, common man's thinking and Shruti thinking difference. Common man thinks that world exists, my body alone rests. My body is there, mind is resting, body is resting, but body is there on the cot, on the bed, and in the room is there, world is there. I don't know the world, but I am resting. This is common man. Shruti adds a little bit. Not only your body is not there, your body, your mind, just as mind has become Avyakta, similarly body becomes Avyakta, world becomes Avyakta, everything becomes Avyakta. This adds a little more Shruti as an Avyakta. That means it wants you to see, difference is like this. Common man sees sleep is only personal. Shruti tells you it is the whole cosmic sleep. That is the only difference. When Karmakanda Shruti teaches, Sushupti is a cosmic Sushupti, common man takes it as an individual Sushupti. Okay? It is an individual deep sleep. Shruti says it is a pralaya, it is an avyakta. It says not only you go to sleep, the entire world goes to sleep. Because there is no Panchabhuta, there is no world, subject, object, time, place, everything goes. And everything wakes up. So it talks of the same Sushupti, it wants you to see the Sushupti not as a personal dissolution, it's not a dissolution of the world alone, it is not a laya of your individuality, laya of the entire world. It is only way of looking. Do you see it is a dissolution of the entire world or dissolution of you alone but leaving out the world? Common man thinks leaving out the world, I alone go to sleep. But little more Shruti adds, when you go to sleep, how can you think of the world? Look at from the anubhava of the sleep. He says, yes, from the anubhava of the sleep, entire world also same. Entire world also merges into it. I understand. Entire world also merges into it. Not only I merge, entire world, when I merge, how can the world exist? Therefore, entire world merges. This is avyakta state. In Mandukya, this is prajnapada, third pada. Turiya is separate, prajnapada it tells. Okay? So, these people think with the help of the common man's thinking, they say that entire world goes, but okay, entire world goes to sleep, I understand, but I wake up again. Who says that I wake up again? Does the sleeping man say, I wake up again? Who says that? You are already in waking, that's why you say, I wake up again. Who says, okay, I go to sleep, okay, entire world goes to sleep, but again world rises. How? Who says? When do you say? Only being in the world you talk of it. Being in the world you talk of rising of the world. That means you are already in the world. Therefore you say, okay, it goes to sleep, entire world dissolves but again rises. Now from just as when you say, the world rises again, world rises again, world rises again, prapancha matte baruttade. On what basis you say? Because you are already in the world. Just as you are already in the world, that's why you are able to say that the world rises again. Similarly, world tentatively suspended, it is avyakta, it is avyakta, it is avyakta. It is the same mind thinking of avyakta. There was no world, it was a past experience. Now it is another thought of all blank thought of all dissolving, but it is still thought. That means this waking memory about deep sleep, you are extending into deep sleep. Okay? That's why we call it avyakta. And so, Vyakhyanakaras take it, and from this waking memory, they imagine that in deep sleep there was avyakta. But avyakta is not simply blank. In avyakta, first when you don't know anything, you can tell anything. When you don't know, you have not gone there. First he told me, he lost some money. Okay, I leave that going there, I'll give you another example. He lost some money, he had some money in the packet. And he tells him, how much you lost? You say, I lost 2,000 rupees, he tells. But again he says, okay, you search for it, if you don't get it, I'll pay you, I'll give you. Then he says, no, I've lost 4,000 rupees. How did you say 4,000? Because he says, really it is true, I had 4,000. Because when you don't know, I can tell anything. You have not seen how much I had. Whether I had 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 or no 1,000. I may not have even 1 rupee also. But since you don't know it, I can tell anything, you have to accept it. When you don't know, you can tell anything. In Sushupti, when there is nothing, they say, when you don't know anything, that not knowing anything, they are interpreting. As it is a Mula Vidya, it is something positive substance. I don't know is also a thought. I don't know is also a thought. Not only thought, it is a positive substance also. First they say it is an absence of knowledge. Second they say it is a positive substance. Anything you keep on adding, all these additions simply mean there is nothing. That nothing itself you are interpreting as Mula Vidya something. Because once there is nothing, once you are asleep, anything you tell you have to believe. Allave? Tell me clearly, in your pocket was there 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000 rupees? How much you had? He can tell anything because it is he alone. He can tell anything and you have to accept it. There is no way. He says there is a 4,000. Then somebody asked only 4,000 or anything else? No, not only 4,000, there was a gold ring also. Because he will give ring also. So, in ignorance, you can imagine anything. Okay. Once you don't know, you can imagine anything. Any imagination, how can you deny? Tell me. First you say, I don't know. That's all. I don't know is a bare, simple experience. That also, I don't know is not a way you experience it. The way you recall it. Here also, post Shankara say, any memory is in keeping with experience. A memory follows the experience. Memory is always in keeping with experience. See, whatever you saw here, after going home, you can recall that you have seen this. Okay. Any recollection, any memory is in keeping with experience. Now they say, we have a memory of deep sleep. Now we have a memory of deep sleep. Therefore, with the help of the memory, we shall decide what was the experience of deep sleep. Can you decide the experience from the memory? Our people, Sachidananda Swamiji followers asked the question, why do you want to decide the nature of experience from the memory? Why do you want to decide the nature of experience of deep sleep from the memory of deep sleep? Why can't, since it is an experience, why can't you say the experience directly? Why do you depend upon memory? Why do you depend upon memory to conclude, to talk about it, to derive the experience? ಹಸಿವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲವಾ ಹೇಳು. Are you hungry or not? Tell me. He says, I forgot, I have to ask him. Ask him, say, have I taken food now? Yes, you have taken food now. Every day you would take 2 dosa, today you have taken 4 dosas. Then he says, I am not hungry. Hey, how do you know? I have to ask him. Because he has seen me while eating. Since he has seen me while eating, I have to ask him whether I am hungry or not. Do you decide whether you are hungry or not from what you have eaten? Or directly you experience the hunger? Do you directly experience the hunger? Therefore, are you hungry or not when I ask you? From the experience of hunger, you talk directly, yes, I am hungry, I am not. Or you talk from the standpoint of eating, whether have I joined you while eating? Have I taken the tiffin? And then from that, he has served me, he has seen me eating, therefore I am not hungry. Do you derive that you are not hungry from the food you have eaten? If the Sushupti experience is your own experience, you should tell directly. Why do you want to decide the experience of Sushupti from the waking memory? One more thing. Is the memory all the time perfectly correct according to your according to the experience? See, is the memory, all the memories, all the time are perfectly true to the experience, or sometimes little goes here and there? Sometimes memories are slightly different from experiences. Is it your experience or not? Sometimes your memories are not true. Sometimes they go wrong. In your memory, sometimes you don't recollect exactly the experience. It slightly deviates. The memory sometimes deviates from experience. It is not exactly the experience. Does it happen or not? Does it happen or not? It does. That means all memories all memories all the time are not true to the experiences. Sometimes, because there is a gap between experience and memory. The gap plays the mischief. What is the gap? Experience is over. and that experience remains, is recorded in the form of samskara in your mind. The samskaras wake up again. So, while recording the samskaras, they remain stored. While recording, there might be some mistake. You might have not recorded all. Sometimes you experience, but while remembering, you don't remember all. A part of it, remember, part of it you ignore. You experience everything, but only part of it you concentrate, other part you may, that is unimportant, you leave them. Therefore, what you pay extra attention, take extra interest, that gets recorded. What you don't take much interest gets ignored. So while recording the experience, a part of it is filtered. And the memory, if the memory remains for a long time, supposing certain event, certain person you met in your childhood, in your 3rd class, 4th class, somebody you met. After a long time you have not, for a long time you have not remembered him, you have not met him, you have not even thought of him. After 50 years, somebody reminds you or somebody comes to you. You say, oh, after 50 years you're thinking it. Now tell me how much you remember. In this long passage of time, some of the samskaras get partly erased, partly distorted. Okay, first, while recording the experience, a part of it records, part of it leaves out. In recording in the recorded samskaras also, recorded impressions, recorded impression in the mind also, if it is a very long time, it gets modified and changed. Some of them erased, some of them certain other experiences get mixed up. If you had a similar experience, if you had another experience similar to it, this experience gets recorded, so the impression of this experience, that experience partly get mixed up because of the similarity. Are you able to understand what I say? Yeah, I'm not telling big psychology, it's a simple common man's life only. I'm not psychologist anyway, I can't tell you all this detailed psychology. Simple. So one is while recording, second is remaining long time in store. In storage it remains for long time, that also affects. Sometimes other experience you have similar to it. Sometimes you have a similar experience, sometimes the same experience you are recalling. Supposing that experience you have recalled for 10 times or 15 times. When you recall and again store it, each time you recall and store it, you keep on adding and subtracting. Don't you do like a painting, you add and subtract. With brush you add a few more strokes. See, when you recall and again store it. Second time recall and store it. Third time recall and store it. Fourth time recall it. 10 times you have recalled and again put it back in your memory. 11th time you are recalling it. Is your memory exactly true to the experience? How much gap in between, how much of interference? What I told, is it possible or impossible? Not only possible, this is what happens normally. This is what happens very normally. Then tell me, how true is your experience? Can you trust the experience? Can you take what your memory reports? Can you take what your memory reports for granted that this alone has really happened? You can't trust your memory totally. You don't know what exactly happened. Now, you are deciding the experience from the memory. Then tell me, what will be the fate of experience? What will be the state of experience which is decided from the memory? This memory, you are seeing what kind of memory you have seen. From this memory, you are trying to reconstruct. Are you recalling the experience or reconstructing the experience? From the memory, which itself is a constructed memory, because you have added, subtracted, changed many things, modified. So you have modified, reformulated from this memory, purely from the memory, because you have no experience. You say, in deep sleep, I can't tell directly from the waking memory about the deep sleep. This is what Vyakhyanakaras say. From the memory of the waking, from the memory about deep sleep in the waking, From the memory in the waking about deep sleep, I am deciding what kind of experience was. Can you decide? This is what is there in Moola Vidya Nirasa book. From that I am telling. ನೀವು ಮೂಲ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ನಿರಾಸ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ each small point I have explained like this, then only you will understand. It's a highly complex book, but I have to explain point by point like this as I am doing now. Swamiji talks very beautifully in all Moola Vidya Nirasa. Nowhere you will find this thing. Explaining the memory and the experience, the relationship which Swamiji talked of in Moola Vidya Nirasa, nobody talked. Anyway, might have talked, but my reading is less, but I have not come across anywhere. Amazingly true. First book I read was Moola Vidya Nirasa only. First book I read was Moola Vidya Nirasa, then Prakriya Pratyabhigna and Mandukya Rahasya Vivruti. Only 3 books I read and little bit of English. I didn't know Kannada to understand Sachidananda Swamiji's books. I learnt Kannada only after coming over here and then started reading his books. Before that I was reading only Sanskrit books alone. Based upon Sanskrit book, I changed my Prakriya from the Vyakhyanakaras to Swamiji's Prakriya. Only 3 books. First is Moola Vidya Nirasa. Second is Prakriya Pratyabhigna. Third is Mandukya Rahasya Vivruti. Only 3. These 3 have changed everything. Now you tell me how much you trust your memory, how true regarding its truthfulness. How true ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣ. ಟ್ರೂ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಎಂದರ್ಥ. ಟ್ರೂ ಅಂದರೆ ಸತ್ಯ ಮಿಥ್ಯ ಅದು ಹೇಳಬೇಡ. ಅನುಗುಣ. ಹೌ ಟ್ರೂ ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. How true is the memory to the experience, and that too you are not comparing. The Vyakhyanakaras see experience, supposing if they say experience is there, memory is there, we are comparing. Okay, to some extent you can understand. They say experience is not known there. There was an experience but I did not know. But from the memory alone you are deciding the experience. Purely from the based upon the memory you are deciding what could be the nature of experience. Experience you don't have now. You don't remember it. Purely from the memory you are deciding the nature of experience. How true it can it be? That's why Swamiji told waking memory. But waking memory could be partly changed, partly modified, partly added up. Adding means you are adding something. You are modifying, improving, changing. Sometimes it could be totally wrong also. Total adhyasa it could be. But here, this memory about deep sleep is a total adhyasa, is what we are telling. It is a complete adhyasa because direct deep sleep experience is non-dual. There is no thought of is or is not. There is no thought of world existing or world not existing. There is no thought of you existing or not existing. There is no thought of knowledge. Knowledge means thought. Knowledge in the form of a thought. Neither knowledge nor no knowledge. Neither a thought nor a no thought. It is just non-dual consciousness. So, from this waking memory, we say waking memory about deep sleep is purely adhyasa, and the deep sleep is direct experience of Brahman. This is our standpoint. Swamiji's okay. But what Vyakhyanakara says, based upon that memory, you posit the experience. Therefore, it is a short while. It is a past bhutakala. Bhutakala, it is a past experience. It is a short while, and it is a absence of the world. And also there is an ignorance. Not only there is an ignorance and absence of knowledge, there is a positive ignorance, a positive substance which modifies into the world. There is a Moola Vidya. How many things you accepted? This many things you have created. You can create many more things. There could be Many more things also. In deep sleep, you can imagine many more things from the waking state, isn't it? In dream, you saw eating jalebi. Then you imagine that, yes, in deep sleep, there must have been jalebi. That's why I saw jalebi in my dream. You can say, yes, there was jalebi in deep sleep. How can you say that? Because I saw jalebi in dream. I saw jalebi in dream, therefore there must be jalebi in deep sleep. Tell me, how can you refute it? Tell me. You can't refute, because I am seeing like this, you can imagine anything. Anyway, Vyakhyanakaras trying to imagine and impose, posit many things from the waking memory about deep sleep. We say waking memory itself is adhyasa. That's all. In one stroke we have removed everything. Direct deception. As long as you think of deep sleep, from the memory of the sleep, it looks that it is a tentative state, it is an absence of the world, you don't know anything. All that, okay, because that's how it appears. From that angle of waking state, you have a thought which is a natural adhyasa. I told you it is a natural adhyasa. Just as waking is a state, an absence of the waking thought also is side by side simultaneous, like the two sides of the same paper. Okay. So that other side of the paper is deep sleep thought, a memory of deep sleep. That memory of the deep sleep you are trying to imagine and trying to put that deep sleep is a cause and waking is an effect. It is like paper has got two sides. So this side is a cause and this side is an effect. This side is avyakta, this side is vyakta. See, I am seeing this thing. Where is the other side? Oh, other side is avyakta. Because avyakta means I am not seeing. That's what it means. Avyakta means what? Not visible. Avyakta means not visible. Oh, where is the other side? Other side is avyakta. When you come this side, where is the other side? That is avyakta. Because naturally, when you don't see it is avyakta. So, you say avyakta and vyakta, they are the cause and effect relationship. Because human mind cannot see two things without being related. Human mind cannot imagine two things without being related in some or other manner. Therefore, it thinks that avyakta is a cause and vyakta is an effect. So, therefore, taking this common man's thinking, Shruti adopts and makes it into a prakriya. But that is a tentative prakriya from karmakanda, from the worldly standpoint. It is not absolute truth. Okay, it's an adhyaropa. Therefore, Vyakhyanakaras took from the waking memory, try to imagine and do all those things. They say, and not only that, they try to present it outside adhyasa. If avyakta is from the standpoint of adhyasa alone, when adhyasa is removed, everything goes away. Brahman alone remains. If everything is adhyasta, both vyakta and avyakta, both waking and deep sleep, both are as a state. Deep sleep as a state and waking, both are adhyasta, then Brahman is swata siddha without any prapancha. It is easy to understand in one stroke. But if you say that adhyasa is only waking world, deep sleep is not adhyasa, then where does it stay? But in deep sleep there is a cause of the world called Mula Vidya. It is outside adhyasa with Brahman. With Brahman, in the control of Brahman, under the Brahman. Under means under the control of Brahman. But it remains. If they say, people say it is all imagination, who has seen it? Has anybody seen it, or is it a logical necessity? Neither it is a logical necessity, nor it is an experience, nor Bhashya says. Neither Bhashya says, nor it is a logical necessity, the only possible necessity. Okay. Is it the only necessity? This is the only possible argument, that the argument can establish nothing else. All arguments necessarily lead to this argument alone, this point alone. It is not a necessary logical argumentation, logical extension. Nor it is found in Bhashya, nor it is found in our Anubhava. Then it is a purely imagination. That's what Swamiji told. It's all unnecessary imagination. Clarifying it is easy. After understanding, explaining is easy. But before we understand, we studied Mula Vidya, lived under Mula Vidya, and then that and this thing, common man's thinking, Mula Vidya Prakriya, and then Satchida. All three put together, decide which is right, all confusion. Once after understanding, explaining is easy. But before that, at that time, it was all confusion. Who is right, who is wrong, ಯಾರನ್ನು ನಂಬಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ confusion. ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟಪಡಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. We had to struggle hard to be able to shift out all these things, clear out many things. These cobwebs all mixing up. We had to clear many things. Okay, now this is the misunderstanding, mistake. So if you posit waking state as an adhyasa, we see waking memory is only a part of adhyasa as waking thought is. Just as a thought of waking state is adhyasa, the memory of deep sleep is also adhyasa. Both these are adhyasa alone. And if you put them as a karya karana, okay, tentative karya karana, that is okay. We can accept it from vyavaharika drishti. But if you say that waking memory posits an another thing which is outside adhyasa, handling becomes very difficult. Then that Mula Vidya, which is sitting in deep sleep, and it is with Brahman, it is under the control of Brahman, and then how will it go? It becomes very difficult. That we'll talk in the next topic. Oh, time aage bittite. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ, I thought of discussing anyway. We'll discuss tomorrow. So ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾಯಾ we will discuss. ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಂದೆ it continues in the next topic. So ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾಯಾ. Then what is ಅವಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾಯಾ? There, this will be little more clarified. Avidya Maya in the next 9th topic. This is the 8th misunderstanding. In the new book, I don't know whether people have this book I am using. This new edition, 2nd edition, probably 3rd edition come, I don't know. I am using the 2nd edition. In fact, I was using in my oldest edition, Swamiji's edition. In the 8th page, 8th point. I have finished it today. So if you imagine Mula Vidya as a cause of it, outside Adhyasa, how will you handle it? How can you remove it? It is very difficult. In Anubhava, it won't go away. Because you have no Anubhava where you are free from Mula Vidya. You have no Anubhava. You have no Anubhava when you are free from Mula Vidya. It is always there with Brahman. And then which Jnana will remove it? How will you remove it? It all becomes complicated. Therefore, they try to say all the thing, okay, when Shastra says it will go away. Your Anubhava, somebody says it will go away. You have hunger. You have a hunger. Directly, which is your Anubhava. Somebody says you have no hunger, I leave you. Then hunger goes away. You have a pain here. You say that no, you have no pain. It goes away. That hunger is your Anubhava. Somebody's statement is a simple statement. How will it go? Therefore, that removing that Mula Vidya in deep sleep becomes very difficult unless you understand Avyakta state is also Adhyastha. Unless you understand that Avyakta state is also Adhyastha, it becomes difficult to understand. Avyakta state is Adhyastha because Sushupti itself is free from Avastha. You have an experience of deep sleep which is stateless. So from that background of deep sleep which is Atma, which is non-dual Atma, taking that as a background, you can understand Sushupti as a state is also limited. It is also Adhyastha, you can understand. Because in the contrast of that Atma. If that Atma, Sushupti as an Advaita Atma, Sushupti as a Brahman if you don't accept as Vyakhyanakaras, then how do you say Sushupti as an Avastha is Adhyastha? Sushupti as an Avastha is an Adhyastha can be understood only if you have Sushupti as a Brahman Anubhava, Brahma Anubhava. From that Anubhava, by contrasting with that Anubhava, you can say Sushupti is a state. But if you have a Sushupti as a state alone, you have no other stateless Anubhava. Then you have got a Sushupti as a state, waking as a state. Sushupti as a state, waking as a... You only have states alone. You have no stateless Anubhava. Then how will you say Sushupti also is a state alone, it is not reality? There is no way of explaining to you. You cannot explain. You have to depend on the Shruti Vakya. You have to depend blindly on the statement of Veda. Veda said it, or Guruji said it, you have to accept blindly. You can't verify it in your Anubhava. Because you are not showing the Anubhava where this statement could be verified in your Anubhava. Because the Anubhava you have is only of a state. you have no stateless Anubhava. Because if Sushupti is not seen as directly Brahmanubhava, you have no Anubhava to verify the Shruti statement. Then it becomes only a Vishwasa, becomes a belief. Okay? Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Tat Sat.